unifies anything. In order to speak intelligibly, you have to invoke unity and diversity. Okay, so in order to say the cat is on the mat, okay, well, first of all, I'm defending God being perfect, and the only exemplification we have that is the God of the Bible. If you'd like to join and discuss this, Daily Hands, come on up. So there is no other God other than the God of the Bible, because no other God has a perfect character set.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, look at what someone is saying, Darth. My God has revealed himself through creation, just not the Christian God.
Jay Dyer said T-Jump was the worst person he ever interacted with.
Yeah, T-Jump is really, really bad, bro. Yeah.
Who said that?
Jay Dyer.
Jay Dyer, he said T-Jump was the worst debater ever.
What a coincidence. Yeah, he's even the atheists recognize that he has mental issues.
He makes this argument that he believes in objective morality and that he can't prove it now, but in the future there will be a telescope that can see it.
He's a very weird person.
Like, what kind of argument is that? Well, in the future, there'll be some scientific proof that Christianity is true. Therefore,
Yeah, in the future, you're going to be burning in hell.
Yeah, in the future, you're going to be burning in hell. Therefore, Christianity.
You'll see it in hell through a telescope or something.
Well, we're not joking either. We're not saying that nobody. None of us want to see these people go to hell.
Yeah, absolutely.
It boggles my mind that he literally argued in a formal debate that, well, in the future we'll have evidence for my position. We just don't know. No, what?
I mean, you can't even make that stuff up. Wow. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Well, at least he believes in objective morality, but yeah, the defense of it is very bad.
Yeah. Well, he told me when I said, since you don't believe in God, what is it that dictates what is and cannot be? And he goes, reality.
He'll say things like he doesn't believe he doesn't believe in worldviews. Like, he doesn't think he has epistemology or ontology or ethics.
No, he stated that he wrote a book on epistemology.
Well, he's told me that he doesn't believe he has an epistemology. He says
he stated on record that he's written a book on epistemology.
So is he Darth an epistemic nihilist? Like, by saying, I understand.
Whenever he gets confronted, he goes back to, I think, therefore I am. Look, the guy is a train wreck.
Well, Darth, I think therefore I am is not epistemic nihilism. It actually is the opposite. It's epistemic infallibilism, right? That you can know that you exist.
Well, foundationalism fails because of there's the interconnectedness between like existence.
Wait, so he's a foundationalist, a precept, or?
Well, yeah, most atheists.
Look, he told Eli Ayala
Yeah.
that he doesn't know what the ultimate basis of reality is. Yet he knows that reality dictates what is and is not.
When you do the I think therefore I am, that's like a type of foundationalism. And then
That is a foundation.
It's also a cop-out.
they think they can build upon that, but it's the problem is
I am. Well, what actualizes unifies the I?
Because like existence, truth, and ethics are all interrelated. You can't have these like things in isolation.
You can't really build. You can't build on that alone. You have to also presuppose God's existence.
You have to have a holistic approach to.
That's right.
Exactly. So if I say the I for any identity state that I invoke, it will either possess identity. The identity will be actualized either in virtue and context of God or without.
There you go. Yeah, that's genius. Yeah.
In Christianity, because we get existence, truth, and ethics from our God, then he can. We have unity in all those things.
That would be Darth a beautiful refutation, maybe to Descartes. That actually no, we need to presuppose God first to actually make sense of that identity statement, right? Of the I here.
It's really simple.
Yeah.
If you refuse to accept that yourself, your own self-consciousness, and the world as it presents itself to us is indicative and ultimately emblematic of ultimate design and intentionality by the mind and purpose of God, then you have no contextualization for how rational faculties can be real.
Yeah.
All right. So how does in Van Til's works, he says what they're advocating is the so-called rational is begotten of that which is characteristically not rational. So the not rational begets the rational. So a chance world begets instances of rationality. Well, how does that work? So, look, we must always keep in mind that all of them already do believe in God.
Suppress the truth, right? But they know it.
At
Right?
any given moment, they're trying to cliche and sloganize their way that they have no need or responsibility to acknowledge God. But when we examine each and every one of their cliched statements, they don't hold up upon examination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Darth, you would say they actually do know that God exists and that the Christianity is the truth.
Of course
right?
they do. Of course they know that God exists.
Yep.
It's just that they're on this perpetual treadmill of gaslighting them. Exactly. Yep.
So, Darth, where are the atheists? I don't know why they don't want to join us and have a good dialogue with us in a mature
No,
manner.
because they're truly afraid.
Yeah, that's
They
right.
they run amok. They run amok on TikTok like in festive insects, in a rundown ghetto. But they never show up here. Well, why?
Yeah, that's a great question, Darth. Yep.
When I try to talk with them on their platforms, most of the time they don't let me up. Even when they have complete mods, they go, "Oh no, you're an awful person. You have complete mods."
Exactly. What are you worried about? You have complete power there.
Yeah. No, these people, regardless of, most of them are not that intelligent, but even if they were like the PhD atheists, they're still bumbling fools.
Ever see that OG Kylo's stream?
No.
He's like a young kid. Well, I finally got him.
Is he new with long, greasy, stringy hair?
No, he's got an afro.
Okay. No, don't know.
I finally got him to concede. He's on the precept thing. He'd always he's 19 or 20 or something. So he'd always just kind of laugh and joke. But then finally I got him to be okay, well, I'm going to have to I don't have a good response. I'm going to have to go research and get a good response for you. And then the next day when I requested up, he didn't let me up.
Yeah, you're out of your element. You're right. Most people are going to go to hell because they're unrepentant. If most people who get infected with rabies refuse to take the vaccine, guess what happens? They're going to die. It's that simple.
God treats us nicer than we do.
Sir, you know what? What you're doing, you're out of your element. You're just simply representing a caricature or straw man representation of God. God's love is not obscured. His justice is not going to be obscured by his love. You see, you're just demonstrating completely inept understanding and an accurate representation of the God of the Bible. Okay? I mean, this is a worse than an adolescent level of slimy, sarcastic response to Christianity. Hey, you're out of your element. Come on up and discuss it, big boy. I'll bet.
I tried to invite him up, Darth, and he doesn't want to come up. Yeah,
come on up. Yeah. You want to shoot your mouth off? Come on up here.
Jesus is at the right hand of the Father right now, advocating that you not be thrown in the lake.
Yeah. You see, what you're doing is you're not accurately representing the biblical narrative. God is awaiting for all human beings until they die to repent to receive salvation. So when people go to hell, it's because they persisted throughout their lifetime in rebellion against God.
Darth, why doesn't he want to come up?
You're out of your element. If you don't come up right now and defend that statement, I'm going to mute you.
You're out of your element. Come up.
You're muted. You're being muted not because we disagree, but because you refuse to come up and defend your statement.
You're out of your element is out of his element.
Yeah.
How ironic, right? That his name is.
Well, again, they're like George Carlin when he did his comedy skit against God. Completely misrepresenting God.
Yeah.
Heard one good joke about God from a comedian was Bill Hicks. He was saying how he did a set where he kind of made fun of God, and after his show, some Christians came up and they're like, "We don't like what you said about our Lord," like real threateningly, and he goes, "Well, so forgive me." I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Oh, we have here the Christian brother Kanoa. God bless you, Kanoa.
Hey, God bless.
God bless, brother.
Darth, I had essentially the atheists are all being scared to come up and talk to you. I had a question going over when you talked to Jeff for Truth. You were asking him how he. You're trying to ask him.
You know what? Can I just interrupt for a second?
Yeah.
Every time I see that guy, it's so cringe that somebody can be that whacked out as a human being. You have to ask yourself, why this emotional fervor? Why? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're right. Well, because he couldn't answer the question. And so I was listening to that again right before it cut out. And you were asking him how is it that he can examine the whole set of the reality or something like that. I was a little confused on what you were asking.
Look, he's a complete idiot. He sits there going, the Romans invented Christianity. Jesus never existed. The apostles. I mean, this is Looney Tunes. The Romans invented Christianity?
It sounds like he was making universal claims. And so when Darth is asking him that, he's like, how do you know any universal claim? How do because a universal claim, you'd have to observe everything in the universe.
Look, when I asked him, what is your worldview that you're going to stand on and speak, affirm and deny things? What is your worldview? And he goes, my worldview is that there are contradictions in the Bible. This is what a blithering idiot he is.
Right, and because it's impossible to examine, because that's what you were kind of saying how do you know the set of something?
If you were to say to a wide cross-section of historians from different backgrounds that the Romans purely and completely invented Christianity, they would think that you're as dumb, if not dumber, than flat earthers. Now, consensus doesn't mean that something's true, but it can have some merit. This idea that the Romans invented Christianity, that Jeff for Truth, it doesn't get any more dumb than that.
I mean, you could argue they co-opted it, I think, but to say they invented it would be insane.
No, to say that Jesus never existed, I mean,
it was outlawed in the Roman Empire, so why would they outlaw it if they're trying to invent it at the same time? That's kind of weird.
You have to ask yourself, what has gone on in Jeff's life? What is his emotional vendetta? You can almost always trace it back to some breakdown into some social or family relationship that they have a vendetta. Do I like Habermas's minimal facts approach? Yes and no. Habermas is not presenting the witnesses as a revelational from God, that God providentially secured and is using this as revelation. Habermas, as much as I have a number of his books, he is a brilliant guy. I really like him. But remember, he's an evidentialist. So he's just making an appeal to an inference to the best explanation.
Darth, don't you think it would make sense though if like someone grew up in maybe the Jehovah's Witness or as a Mormon that they would have this hostility towards Christianity?
Well, that's very common. You'll find that many of the anti-apologists are from those kinds of backgrounds.
But Darth,
A lot of them are from Pentecostal and charismatic backgrounds as well.
Darth, can we like make the minimal facts be transcendental, where we could say like we need to presuppose God for us to make sense of the resurrection or the facts? From,
in the book Ventil and the Use of
and
Evidence,
the use of evidence,
that we can bring historical evidence as to why we believe, but we're not presenting it merely as an inference to the best explanation. Where it's a part of a composite model of reality. That if you deny the providentially secured eyewitness testimony, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're referring to as the Acts seminar. So the point is, it's not that the evidentialists are wrong. It's that they're not framing the evidences properly.
Yeah.
Right? We have to refer to the historical reasons, as evidentialists do, but as a package of revelation from God. Yeah. And when we reject these eyewitness testimony, they're rejecting the wider frame, the context that it's revelational of God. The evidentialists are just simply presenting these eyewitness accounts as mere eyewitness accounts and not encompassed or contextualized by God's providential revelation from him to us.
Yeah.
Oh, the Jesus seminar, they're complete asshats. Yeah, they're gonna be roasting in hell too. Unfortunately.
So Darth, when people try to appeal to ground things with the laws of logic or reality, can you because I think that's what like I saw happen yesterday with the username was vegan. I don't know if you talked to that guy before, but he tried to come up and try to ground because he kind of did, and it sounded like he was saying like the similar things to Jeff, where he says, "Well, they just are." Because I was like, "How do you know that? You know what's going on?"
Good, and then God just is.
Yeah, that's ultimately what I said to him. Yeah, God just is that,
and it's just a case that you're wrong, right? I don't have a defense why you're wrong. It just is the case that you're wrong. No, when they say it just is, it's a total admittance and capitulation to utter failure. This is why Jeff ran away.
When they say that it just is, that's losing the debate. That's what that is.
Yeah, once they say, well, it just is. That's just the way it is. Yeah.
That's the way it is.
You know, on the one hand, I find I have utter contempt and for Jeff for truth, but at the other side, you have to feel sorry for him because he's just exemplifying such grand stupidity. And I don't indict him for stupidity merely because I disagree with him, but he's just really displaying stupidity.
They have no reference for truth. We have a reference for truth. So when he's Jeff for truth, like that doesn't refer to anything. It's just fantasy.
Yeah.
Does he like avoid you now after that? Because I think I would.
He has in the past, and he did it again. It's just that in other words, he didn't have powers of mods, right? And he didn't want to totally embarrass himself. He tried to save face, but he quickly got torched. That's his whole shtick. Christianity is a contradiction. James said, if any of you is sick among you, call the elders and anoint oil, and they're going to be healed. See, that's a lie. That doesn't happen today. Well, where does it say in the text that would continue throughout the church age? Maybe that was specific to while the apostles were still alive. Okay? I mean, there are adolescents who reason better than this. Okay? When you say I have mad Scrabble
Yeah,
skills,
someone is saying that, Darth. You have mad Scrabble skills.
what are they talking about?
I to be honest, Darth, I concur. Like you use. It seems like you have a very strong vocabulary. You use very sophisticated words, right? Sometimes, and you'd be great at Scrabble, Darth.
Well, you want to hear something funny? Years ago, I was playing Scrabble with one of my older brothers who far surpasses whatever IQ I have. And he just had a mind that was just a solid trap for any information. We were playing Scrabble. And of course I knew I'm going to I'm going to lose, cause he's so much better at it. But we're just playing for fun. So he puts down a 3-letter word beginning with Z. And I say, well, that's not in the dictionary. And we agreed on the Scrabble dictionary. And if it's not in there, you lose your turn.
Yeah.
So I challenged the word, and it wasn't in the Scrabble dictionary. So what does he do? He quits.
Wow.
Do I play chess? No, never played chess.
Yeah, she's saying you're good with English. Yeah, I agree. Like when I watch your videos, you have a very strong command of you use very sophisticated vocabulary, Dorothy.
The more you read, the more you develop a wider vocabulary.
Yeah.
Okay. Into strategy games in high school, like I would have been a famous Twitch streamer because I was like one of the best in America at a real-time strategy video game. I love games.
That's pretty cool.
Well, when I say reading, I don't mean read the comic books.
Yeah. Darth, someone is saying, didn't you ban me? But I still, why are you ban? I think Darth, he wants another ban, I'm guessing. Or
who knows?
Kevin knows.
So once again, folks, the atheists on TikTok wave the white flag of surrender, but they're still pretending to fight when they go after low-hanging fruit on their streams, but they won't show up here. Or they run away from me, or they dogpile me when I go onto their streams. If Planet Peterson is so, good at what he does, why not talk with me? Why?
Oh, Planet Fiasco Peterson? Oh, okay.
My 3 encounters with Planet Peterson, each of 3 encounters, he conducted himself like a borderline maniac. Okay? I've attempted to speak with him. The guy is literally afraid to have an interaction with me, right? The guy is immature. If you watch his streams, he's extremely immature. He's haughty beyond measure in terms of his own reflection of his own ability to understand science vis-a-vis metaphysics. He knows that I would kick his ass, right? But because he's haughty, that's why he tried 3 times to interact with me, but he did so as a maniac.
One thing I hate about debate, it's a game, it is like a strategy game, but the problem is it's sort of ambiguous. Like who wins the debate is ambiguous to the audience. It's not so clear if someone's like not informed, Whereas if you're playing like chess, it's obvious to the audience.
I will say this to you without any bragging or hubris on my part, okay? I am not afraid to talk with any atheist on the planet. Okay, not one. The only atheists that I will not talk to is a small number of them that have a long prior history of engaging in stalking and harassing me. Those people can go pound rocks. But you have people like Planet Fiasco Peterson, who's made it very clear that he's afraid of having an intelligent interaction with me.
Darth, we have your.
Look, listen, you can take this to the bank. He is afraid because if he wasn't, he would sit down and have an adult interaction with me on any platform.
Yep. Darth, we have here Atheist Anonymous. I'm guessing he's an atheist by his name.
Okay, so you're an atheist?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, agnostic atheist.
No, that's a contradiction in terms, sir.
No, it's not.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 41.
Okay, so I'm going to explain to you why, in fact, it is. In philosophy, atheism and theism are propositional. Okay? Are we clear on that point before I move on?
If you want to clarify that.
Do you know what a proposition is? It's a truth bearer.
Well, atheism is reaction or rejection to the claim
fucking
that God
focus
exists.
on what I'm saying to you rather than use it as a springboard to rabbit trail. Are we clear?
Well, I'm not proposing a truth or
Sir,
anything.
okay, so you're going to ignore what I'm saying to you. You want to get kicked?
What am I ignoring?
Do you want to get kicked?
Okay, ask your question again, please.
Now, atheism and theism are propositional in nature. They're truth bearers, okay?
Okay, can you clarify what you
I'm
mean?
talking. Why the fuck is just about every atheist I talk to like an immature little 15-year-old?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's
When
absolutely.
people wonder why I get pissed, because people like you act like a little ass.
Yep.
Okay? Now, I'm trying to explain something to you why you're wrong. If after I explain to you, I go through it to you and you want to disagree respectfully, that's fine. But this inadvertent, interruptive, and rabbit trailing makes you look like a dumbass. Now, atheism and theism are propositional in nature. They each negate each other. The proposition is God exists, or the proposition God does not exist. Okay?
Okay.
In philosophy, atheism and theism are not terms that merely are a statement of one's psychological condition. It is a truth bearer that answers the propositional question, does God exist? Okay, so theism is the assertion in general, yes, there is a creator. Atheism is the negation of that proposition, no, there is not a creator. Okay? So are we clear that both atheism and theism are propositional?
Not fully. Can I explain why?
Goodbye. You are so stupid. Okay.
Yeah.
You see, these are people, they are not educated. They think because they're adopting an alternative concept that therefore it has any kind of a justification. Okay?
Yep.
What I said is in philosophy. I didn't say in the minds of internet atheists.
Exactly.
Okay?
You couldn't understand that, yeah.
The problem is, in his worldview, a proposition is just like asking someone to spend the night at his place.
Yeah, probably. So to sit there and call yourself an agnostic atheist is a contradiction in term, because atheism is a judgment in the negative about God's existence. Agnosticism is the self-representation or claim that they are refraining from a judgment about the existence or non-existence of God. Yeah, listen, dude, you're 41 years old going on 16, okay?
He's saying, Darth, atheism doesn't assert anything.
Oh, then it doesn't mean anything. Boy, are you dumb.
Yeah,
Oh, my
yeah.
gosh. Oh, my gosh. You see how, you see, no intelligent atheists.
Yep.
You see, what they have done Atheism is not merely a stipulation of a mental state. It's an answer to a question, the proposition, does God exist?
Yeah.
And answering saying, oh, I don't have a belief in God is not an answer to the question.
Darth, do you even know that Plantinga in his book Where the Conflict Really Lies, it says that naturalism is a religion, and he offers the reasons why he considers it to be a religion, even naturalism, right? Darth, we have here Jay with us. Jay, are you an atheist?
Unmute your mic.
No, sir.
Are you a Christian?
Yes, sir.
What do you have to say?
Oh, no, nothing. I think I was just here and the host brought me up, but I'm good. I'm just listening.
No, these people persist in beating the tom town. Atheism is just a lack of belief. Atheism is a lack of belief. They're wearing their stupidity proudly on their sleeve. Okay?
Darth, look at this person, Noogie. He's saying it means you don't assert that there's no God, just lack of a belief. You're thinking of deism.
All you're just doing is you're regurgitating the same dog vomit that atheists say all the time. This is not what it is in philosophy. This is empty atheist rhetoric and sloganeering.
Yep.
You see, because they cannot defend the falsity of God. By the way, what creature is that?
Yeah, what's that? I was just going to ask. Like, what's that pre-sub? Is that like...
What is it?
It's my cat.
Oh, it's a cat.
It's a cat. It's a cat, okay. Yeah, Darth, Noogie came up, Darth. Here's Noogie, the atheist suggestion.
Hello?
Welcome, Noogie. Are you an atheist?
I am, yes.
Okay, so in philosophy and on the stream, atheism is a proposition. It's an answer to the question is, does God exist? And it answers it in the negative. So atheism and theism are propositional in nature, answering the question, does God exist? Now, agnosticism is the position where one claims they're suspending judgment. Okay? So, do you qualify as an atheist, or do you self-identify as suspending judgment?
I believe I would qualify as an atheist.
Okay. Can you tell me why there is no God?
Because the traditional idea of God makes no logical sense.
What proposition does the concept of God contradict?
It's more of his attributes that don't make any sense.
I'm not getting a clear answer. What I just heard was a dodge. What proposition does the concept of God contradict?
I don't suppose it does contradict any proposition I can think of.
Then you just screwed yourself. Or it doesn't cohere with a proposition.
Sure.
Good. So you don't have an argument.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I said you don't have a rationale for the non-existence of God, do you?
Based on that line of reasoning, no.
Yeah. So why are you an atheist?
Just because I disagree with some of the things that you said. I don't believe that that's what it takes to be an atheist. I'm sorry?
Do you disagree on rational grounds?
Yeah, I disagree that that's what it takes to be an atheist. If the concept of God is incoherent, like his triomny attributes.
How is the concept of God incoherent?
Because of the triomny attributes.
How is that? Notice how you keep on, sloganeering, but you're not giving us any substance. How is the triune nature of God incoherent?
Sorry, no, perhaps I misspoke. Not the Trinity. Like his omniscience, for example.
How is that incoherent?
Because there would be no way for God to confirm it was omniscient. So omniscience is impossible for any. It wouldn't be possible.
How old are you?
I am turning 21 in May.
Okay, this is very sad for a young man of your age. Okay, you did not make any sense. So how do God's omni properties somehow conflict?
Like with themselves?
Yeah. Your mic is muted.
Noogie, unmute yourself and respond to Darth.
Sorry, I hit it by accident. I haven't given much thought about the triomni attributes contradicting themselves. I just don't think it's possible to have those attributes.
So all you're just simply telling is you're appealing to a notion of relativism, and relativism doesn't demonstrate anything, right? So you haven't brought to the table a defeater for God, have you?
A what for God, sorry?
A defeater.
I suppose not.
Yeah, and the real reason why you deny God is because you don't want to acknowledge the God that you know, so your mind gravitates towards slogans and cliches to gaslight yourself while your life is ticking away until you face God on Judgment Day. There is no rational basis to deny God. Let me ask you this question. Either you're in a world where you recognize you have rational faculties and they are emblematic of ultimate design, or your rationality is contextual.
I'm sorry, I may have to come back on later because I'm outside and there's a lot of traffic and it's interfering.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah, another numbnuts atheist. Okay. Well, God's omni properties contradict each other, so he can't exist. Well, can you explain how they contradict? No, I can't.
I think he wants to mention, Darth, the omnipotent paradox argument, which is like trash and it's been answered.
That doesn't work.
It doesn't work because logical impossibilities.
It doesn't. And look, these are people who haven't exposed themselves to robust defenses of the omni properties.
That's right. Yeah. All right, we have here Darth.
I thought he was going to do like the problem of evil. That's what I thought he was going to do.
It's amazing. It's amazing that so many of these atheists with teenage mentalities think that they have the sine qua non defense of refuting God. Yet, why are there still theologians out there? Okay, people who make their living off of studying this stuff.
Christian philosophers, Darth. We have brilliant Christian.
Yeah, why are there Christian theologians, philosophers, if these little teenage atheists go, well, God's omni properties contradict himself, so he can't exist. And all of these theologians and Christian philosophers are blissfully ignorant of what these teenage atheists have discovered. Isn't that amazing?
Now that Darth, 80% of the philosophers of religion are theists, right? So, and Christians. So that,
They thrive on stupid cliches and slogans as to why God doesn't exist. Okay, professional Christian philosophers and theologians, they literally laugh at this kind of reasoning.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, they're not laughing simply because they disagree. They're laughing because it's colossally stupid.
Yep.
It doesn't hold up upon examination.
Exactly. Darth, we have here Amjad. Amjad, are you an atheist?
You got to unmute your microphone, Amjad.
Unmute yourself. He left.
No stress. Welcome. Are you an atheist?
No, I'm a Christian. I just have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I haven't listened to you in a while. Have you had anyone come around or change your mind since any atheists?
That's an impossibility.
What do you mean?
Because a something that is an internal self-contradiction couldn't change my mind about anything because it's incoherent. That's like
has anyone else changed their mind?
Have I changed people's mind? Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I just don't talk about it.
Oh, awesome. I was just curious about that. I was just wondering if anyone's come around.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Keep doing what you're doing, brother.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Darth, I have a quick question as well.
Sure.
So, is an atheist?
Is that a cat in your picture?
Yeah, it's my cat.
I'm looking at it. can't quite make out what it is. Okay, yeah, it's a little.
But is an atheist considered someone who denies any concept of God?
Yeah, atheism denies the existence of God or gods.
Okay.
Okay, so for example, a pantheist is a type of an atheist in that he denies the creator-creature distinction, although he's affirming that all is God, but it's still a type of atheism. So somebody might affirm that there are supernatural beings that have powers, but themselves are not ultimate and absolute, believe in gods, but still maintaining that there is no creator God. That's a type of atheism, while they're affirming that they're gods. Then you have atheists who deny both that there's an ultimate creator God and that there are other spiritual beings that have supernatural powers that are called gods. So there are different flavors of atheism.
Okay. Would paganism be a type of atheism or no, since they...
Yes.
Okay.
Think of the creator-creature distinction. So there's no. I don't think there's a creator-creature distinction.
If you deny the creator-creature distinction, you're an atheist. Even if you acknowledge that there are gods.
Okay.
Hey, is your name based off like a TV show character or something? Because there's a woman on Clubhouse with the name Sela. Or was it? Is it just?
No, it's from I think it's Psalms or Proverbs.
Yeah, it's used in Psalms. Yeah.
Yeah, it means like pause and reflect or something like that.
Yeah.
Showed my ignorance as a Christian. Nice.
So once again, my stream is proof positive that the TikTok atheists are cowards.
Now we haven't had any mature conversation. Like, where are they, Darth?
They never show up.
Yeah.
Because they're afraid. They just like going after low-hanging fruit. Look, why did Justin from Deconstruction Zone, Mr. Badass Deconstruction, he picks on all of these neophyte Christians, yet when I go on his show, he was entirely abusive to me. Why?
Yeah.
Why didn't he want to have an intelligent interaction? Just think of the victory lap he could have taken by out-intellectualizing me.
It's because he doesn't know anything about philosophy. I encountered him not on his show, but he was on another atheist, that Sloveno guys panel, and I confronted him, and I basically called him a grifter to his face, because he sits there and goes, prove God exists, but then he doesn't know the slightest thing about how to prove
proving God exists is just smuggling in atheism. So when they say prove that God exists, are you asking me to falsify your atheism? Okay. Look, whenever somebody adopts a parody stance against the existence of God, it means even they themselves are cognizant of their own intellectual bankruptcy to defend their position. Because there's no need to do a parody of the God world. All you have to just do is just bring your defeater.
They're comparing what we're saying as to like the same thing as gluing some googly eyes on a rock, as if that's the same thing as what we're saying. It's
worse. Look, it is worse than the kind of stupidity that you will hear from a cafeteria table teenager, because at least a cafeteria teenager has an excuse for their stupidity. Erecting a straw man representation like your God is a stuffed animal, purple hippopotamus, or a rock that you call Doug, okay? This is just simply trying to neutralize the advocacy of God rather than to put in clear, upfront terms your identity statement that falsifies and negates God. So what is Justin's negator for God? Well, the answer is he doesn't have one. You can take this to the bank. Justin Deconstruction Zone is literally afraid to have an adult interaction with me. At least Cheddarson, to his credit, had 2 adult interactions with me. He dodged and evaded my questions, but at least he had the balls to have an intelligent interaction with me. I don't say this to brag. I say it to mock Justin, because he truly is afraid.
Because like God is a different type of fact. God would make all facts true. That we can't prove a fact like that the same way we prove like the earth is round or something like that.
Yeah, cautious. Come on up. Let's hear you set us straight. If we're incorrect, I'd love to hear from your intelligence.
He's been up, Darth. Why isn't he coming up?
Yeah, come on up, big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just a drive-by.
And look at the person under him, Darth. Wolves.
Yeah. Don't make no sense. Yeah. Well, that's ungrammatical.
Yeah. I invited them up as well. Wolves. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't come up. They're a bunch of drive-bys. So if they post similar comments again, they're going to get muted. Coming up.
Yep.
Oh, come up right now, buddy. Come on up. Let's go. I'm not afraid to talk with any atheists.
And you're dodging what question?
No. Hey, listen, if you don't come up right now, I'm going to block you.
He's lying, Darth. He's lying right now.
I know he is. We see people like you all the time. I just sent you an invite. I'm going to send you another one. Okay, it's still pending. If you don't come up, you're going to get blocked.
Up here, Darth. He came up. Yeah, here he is. He's still, yeah. Cautious is up here, Darth.
Go ahead. What's your questions?
Well, I asked it in chat. I said, are these guys presenting like a presupposition argument? ? And you didn't answer it. You dodged the question. So sorry.
No, usually that's
answer, maybe?
a sarcastic remark. Okay. Are you familiar? Are you familiar with biblical presuppositional?
Are you going to answer the question or not? Are you guys?
Yeah, isn't it obvious that we are?
Brilliant. Good for you, but sorry, I don't debate bad faith debaters. I had to ask 4 times. If you're a bad faith debater and you don't answer questions, so goodbye.
Did you guys kick him or did he run away?
I think you ran.
He said goodbye to you. Didn't you hear that?
Yeah.
He said, I don't debate bad faith debaters.
Yeah, he couldn't even speak properly. They come up here and they can't even speak. They can't even articulate English properly.
Yep. Yeah, Dorothy. Yeah.
I don't expect us all to speak the Queen's English, but there has to be a minimum of being able to enunciate words.
Absolutely.
You know, they're so haughty and arrogant without cause. Right? But that's what 2 Peter 3 says. In the last days, the mockers and the scoffers are going to come. Okay? They're going to proliferate. You know, and they've been emboldened by these low-life scientists who've decided to give God the middle finger, for which they have no justification for. And they go, "Oh, I don't need God, I got evolution." And they don't realize that evolution is totally craptastic. It's a horrible scientific theory.
It's trash, right, Dorothy?
They don't even know that they've been lied to. That when you actually study paleontology and you get into the graduate level,
yeah,
you learn about how the craptastic idea that fossils support evolution. It doesn't. The fossil record as a whole is an utter embarrassment to Darwinian gradualism.
Yep.
I don't say that as a matter of opinion. This is recognized among paleontologists.
Darth, when they try to say I can trust my reasoning because I evolved to think correctly about the world, could we? Obviously, there's better counters to what I'm about to say. I know because of the precept, but wouldn't it like follow from that people evolved to believe in God and therefore God is true? Or am I wrong on that? Maybe.
Would you go back 2 sentences and repeat?
Yeah, like we know their position is a joke, precept, all that, right? But given their own system, where like they say, I trust my reasoning because of evolution, and couldn't we just say, well, people evolved to believe in God, so therefore God's true, based on that? Like, see what I'm saying? By their own assumptions.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care. Look, we're not dealing with rational people. They are irrational. Even the professional atheists are irrational.
Even like these brilliant atheists have these irrational, crazy views, right, Darth?
If you have not broken out the popcorn and watched my interaction with the Dr. Professor Stephen Law on YouTube, you should watch it. This is a guy who is a very accomplished professor of philosophy. He's written a number of worthy books on philosophy. Yet when I questioned him about the non-existence of God, he became creepy and sleazy and evasive.
There was a debate, Darth, that was had between Plantinga and Stephen Law. I want to send you the video for you to watch. It was hilarious.
Please do.
Plantinga totally demolished him.
Oh yeah,
even though
I don't think there's any. Plantinga probably crushed him.
Yeah, there was also a debate between Plantinga and Daniel Dennett. I wish there was a video copy that I can watch it. I can't find it. Where people say that Plantinga also demolished Dennett on naturalism and stuff like that.
Well, Dennett knows there's a God now.
Now he's not an atheist, Darth.
Dennett's no longer an atheist.
Yeah.
And we're just awaiting, the demise of Richard Dawkins, and he joins them, and then it will be Sam Harris.
Yep.
I mean, I listened to some clips of Sam Harris, and I cannot believe the stupid shit that he says sometimes.
You think, Darth, that he's very well competent in metaphysics and epistemology and
what?
Yeah, that was a joke.
Sam Harris is a very articulate fool.
Yeah.
The stupid crap that he says.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He does though have a PhD in neuroscience, so he's good in neuroscience.
I don't besmirch the guy as being stupid.
Yeah.
But he says stupid shit when it comes to metaphysics.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
There's none of these people that I would be afraid to sit down and dialogue, with them, because they don't say anything more sophisticated at all than you teenage atheists do.
Darth, that's what even Plantinga says, right, in his book, that these new atheists are like teenagers.
When I asked Massimo Paluggi, an atheist who has 3 earned PhDs, how is it that God doesn't exist? He goes, well, I don't have a reason to believe in God. I said, it doesn't follow from that God doesn't exist. I said, so how is it that God doesn't exist? What does he do? He repeats the same thing again.
Yeah. Darth, would you... I really want you to say... I wish one day, it happens where you have a dialogue with Richard Dawkins, and he hears your presuppositional transcendental argument. Oh, that would make my day.
If I had an opportunity to do that, I would love to dialogue with him.
Yeah.
But I don't think that will happen because he's getting old now.
Oh, yeah.
I would just like to know what transpired when he was younger, why he became this foaming at the mouth atheist.
Let's say, in the book, The Case of Christ, which I don't agree with because he's an evidentialist.
No, you know what? I would mock them by just simply systematically defending their cliches. That's simple. Ginormous.
Yeah. I invited him up, Darth. Why doesn't he come?
I'm going to invite you up, Ginormous. Come on up, big boy.
And Darth, there was an atheist, not a Christian philosopher. I can't remember his name, who said that almost all these atheists had an emotional trauma from like these religious people, and that's why they have this vendetta against God.
I would not. The way I would characterize it is that there is a certain proportion of them that do, but that's certainly not true of all of them.
Yeah, and Darth, like the famous ones like Nietzsche and all of these people, they had like emotional, traumatic childhoods, right, where they were abused and stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, you would, of course we wouldn't say all of them, but like a very good proportion of them.
Yeah, a good proportion of atheists have mommy and daddy issues.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
So notice Mr. Mocking and ridiculing ginormous won't come up here
I invited him up, Darth. Why isn't he coming up?
because he's a coward.
Yep. That like like the majority of them.
Every time I'm invited to come up on stage on other streams, I always go up.
Sure.
The only times I can think that there might be an exception to that is if I'm familiar that it's the panelists, that it's stocked with usual suspects that I know that it's guaranteed that there's going to be just this dogpiling.
Yeah, Darth, someone is saying from Daily Hands, yeah, this person keeps making statements. And where was God doing while they were being abused? He's invoking the problem of evil and stuff like that. Yeah,
It's like very simple. God has decided to implement creation and the fall of man.
Yep.
Okay? And then he has an appointed time when he is going to adjudicate all of this. What you don't like is the fact that God is not interceding right now, okay? So if you would like God to adjudicate all evil right now, guess where you're going? Rather than recognize that it's the grace of God waiting for people to repent until their earthly demise and achieve salvation, okay? So you see, their real gripe is not that God allows people to sin, but the duration of human history across with people's sin. So what you want to do is you want God to intervene piecemeal, but not across the board, because that would include you, Daily Hands. You know, almost all of them, and I don't say this to be mean, but almost all of them literally display childish thinking on these matters. This is how stupid they are. Even the professional atheists. Well, I don't have a reason to believe in God.
Or that the God is this concept is man-made, like Malpass saying, "Oh, I think that man made up gods," right, or something like that. They say that.
In other words, they accept without a rational defense naturalism, and saying, "Well, I don't see any defeaters on the landscape indicating God. Therefore, I'm justified in holding to naturalism, even though I haven't defended naturalism." Look, they're not arguing for their model of reality. They're just going, "Oh, I'm unconvinced. You haven't proven. Na boo boo." It's cringe listening to these people. All of them, not just some of them, all of them. They're not bringing intelligence and wisdom to the table. They're just bringing adolescent reasoning.
Okay, Darth.
And it doesn't matter what their academic background is or lack thereof. It doesn't matter what their IQ is. They're all the same.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all the same.
Look, when I asked that stupid Jeff for Truth how he accounts for the universal law of non-contradiction that he uses against Christianity, he goes, "Well, that's just the way it is." Well, that's the same stupid answer that Graham Oppy gave me when I asked him to account what actualizes the unity in the world, since you reject that it's God. What actualizes unity in the world? Oh, it just is. I see books on myself. It just is.
Yep.
You see, one of the world's smartest atheists gave the same stupid answer that one of the stupidest TikTok atheists makes.
And he's a very intelligent person, right, Darth?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I'm not besmirching his intelligence.
Yep.
But just because somebody is highly intelligent and highly educated and a well-published author, and they say stupid crap, like saying, "Well, it just is," that there's unity and diversity in the world. It just is, without reference to God, just is. So both the stupid atheist and the educated high IQ atheist say the same stupid crap.
Absolutely.
And they only like picking on low-hanging fruit. And look, as Mars develops in his skill as a biblical presuppositionalist, you will see an ever-increasing hostility and abuse toward him that is developing on a day-to-day basis, as we already do see.
Darth, I had an atheist acquaintance that I used to talk with, right? Before I was very competent with presuppositional and transcendental argumentation, right? After gaining a certain skill, after gaining much knowledge about it, this person became very hostile towards me, right? Because I started dialoguing, like he started to see like he doesn't really have an answer, right, to what I was presenting to him. And like you said, Darth,
they no longer have a plausible deniability.
Exactly. Yeah. Darth, they treat people who are low hanging fruit very well, but people who have people who run, the transcendental presuppositional argumentation where they know they don't have an answer for, they try to,
they don't have an argument for premise one. Well, here's the situation. The premise one is itself self-authenticating, but here's the deal. Since you reject and deny premise one, the only way to not accept premise one is to hold and embrace its negation. What's the argument for that?
There you go.
Okay? Because you see, what they want to pretend is that they have the luxury of going, you haven't convinced me of premise one. But you see, they're still smuggling in their atheism without defending it. If you do not accept premise one, that a singular causal first principle that is exemplifies intelligence and intentionality, namely God, and is perfect, that a single causal first principle that has to have the attribute set of perfection in order to actualize a world by which we can have regularity and possess access to reason, truth, intelligibility, and knowledge. Okay, that property set, which one of them would deny that property set, were it to be true, couldn't facilitate reason, truth, intelligibility, and knowledge?
Yeah.
Okay. And only one worldview can be true. And if a one worldview is shown in terms of its property set to be able to do that, it's over. But you see, they're playing this little game that they can just go, nuh-uh, but nuh-uh constitutes a counterclaim. So
Darth,
what's the argument for the negation of premise one?
Darth, a person by the name of Adipsia is mocking us, Darth, saying, they won't accept my presupposition, and he keeps making these mocking emojis, right? These laughing emojis.
Yeah, you better come up or you're going to get blocked.
Yep.
Come on up. You see, we're not throwing out mere presuppositions. What we are saying is we have a world that exemplifies ultimate design and intentionality. One will either accept that the world exemplifies that, or you're going to accept that the world exemplifies the negation of that. Both of those propositions require defense. We're not just going, I presuppose God, therefore God. That's not our position. Okay? You're not, you see, again, you're moronically not, you're caricaturizing and putting up a straw man representation of our position.
Hey, Darth, you know how we were disagreeing, or we weren't disagreeing necessarily. We were talking about the elders can be female or male.
Yeah.
So is that a really important issue? I would say if someone's not a Trinitarian, that would be kind of anathema because the Trinity is core. But if someone believes an elder can be a woman, would you say that person's anathema, or is that because to me that doesn't seem like a huge issue? Or what do you think?
Well, I would disagree with you there. I wouldn't put it on the same level as denying the Trinity, but it's a serious problem in terms of how the church is to operate. Okay.
Let's say I don't really know. I have to do research on this issue, so I kind of surface level looked at it last night. But like, let's say I adopt, like, I believe women can be elders. Would you like disassociate with me because I have that position?
No.
So you would say, Darth,
No,
that
but I would. Let's say I was an elder in a local church. I would not cooperate with another church that ordained women. I would have biblical separation because I think it's a very serious error.
Yeah, Darth, I said that women cannot be pastors, right? And I got so much hate from that, from fellow Christians.
I think our disagreement is more due to your lack of investigation and research than it is that you are ardently committed to what is called egalitarianism.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're stupid or ignorant. It just you have
at
to.
a surface level. There's some verses that's with like the Galatians 3:28, for example, that on a surface level, but we have to do it deep. I know I have to do more research into this.
Darth, would you say like maybe one of the proof texts?
We take.
Go ahead, Peterson.
Take a
I had
look.
one more question I had about that was like you said men aren't most men can't be elders. You wouldn't be able to be an elder, right? Would you say someone would have to go to like seminary or something like that?
No, the qualification for an elder is that you are of good character. That in biblical times, when it says a husband of one wife, what that's referring to is that you haven't been married and then you instigated a divorce and got married to another woman. It's not per se talking about somebody who, let's say, was in a marriage and the wife went bad, okay, and divorced the husband. So if that's, for example, that happened to Greg Bonson. So when it talks about being the husband of one wife, it's referring to that you have been faithful to your marriage commitment and that you didn't dispose of your wife and pick up another one.
Would you consider Bonson an elder?
Could he be? Yeah.
Would you be? Could you be an elder, but you don't want to be? Or something?
Of course, Darth can be an elder.
It would
Absolutely.
depend upon the church's policies.
Yeah.
You got to remember, there are men who could be elders, but this is to be limited within the church. There's not to be a proliferation of elders.
Yeah, I just need to study this issue. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Darth, would you say like one of the proof texts for why females cannot be pastors is because of when Paul says that women should be silent in the church? Is that like one of
I think that's one among several verses. And Paul even goes so far as says, look, it was the woman who was deceived.
Yes.
Now, not the man. Now,
Yeah.
when it comes to men and women have equally have their strengths and weaknesses as men and women.
Yeah.
Men are prone towards certain errors and faults. I don't want to say disproportionately because they're men, but to a certain degree because of their maleness. And females are prone towards certain errors. Okay? This is why Paul lays down the principle. And that's also why he lays down that the male elders have to be within certain qualifications. Okay? But if somebody was biblically trained, and they're sanctioning female teachers within their elders, I'm not going to want to regularly fellowship with this person. When you look across the spectrum, both in the recent past and the 20th century and now, of those notable congregations that have ordained women, that's not the only error that they're suffering from. They suffer from other errors as well. If you take a look at Rick Warren's church, or if you look at Bill Hybels' church, these are the two Bobbsey twins of the church growth movement. These are two individuals that sanction and defend the ordination of women to be elders in a church. But these are two people who couldn't even discern a heretic when he was looking them in the face, Robert Schuller.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think these kinds of conjoining errors have no connection to each other.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is just as an example. Now, there are some people who I may regard their academic achievement and their intellect may be admirable, like Douglas Gruthheis, who has written a number of books that are really good on a survey of apologetics, and I can respect that. But Douglas Gruthheis is somebody who actively or sanctions what is called egalitarianism, that there can be fellow elders.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a big problem. Okay, but usually, not always, but usually, those who sanction egalitarianism, that is the ordination of women to be one of the few slots of elders in a local church, that's not their only error. They usually have other errors.
Yeah. Darth, do you have any thoughts? Because this individual, I love hearing their sermons. I'm not sure if they're in the right or not. Pastor David Jeremiah.
I don't know of any glaring errors of David Jeremiah, but what I also know is the things that he doesn't say. It's not just what you say, it's what you don't say. Compare that and contrast that with John MacArthur.
Okay, yeah.
John the MacArthur names names.
Yes.
Okay. David Jeremiah it's not that he's teaching false doctrine or anything like that. It's just, but he's not taking a stand on certain important issues, whereas John MacArthur is. Now, do I disagree with John MacArthur on some issues? Yeah, but I'm far more in agreement with him than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a stupid remark, account 99.
Why doesn't he come up? Let me invite him.
You know what? You know what's funny? Not only do they make incredibly stupid statements, they actually glory in their stupid statements.
Yeah.
And I think the statements are stupid, not merely because I disagree with it, because these stupid statements are so easily refutable. Okay?
Yep.
Easily.
I mean, I would argue it's good that we have some freedom to disagree. I don't see how disagreeing. And I think if we all just thought the same thing, that would be weird.
Well, the fact of the matter is we don't have clear indication of ordination of women to the small number of elders in a local congregation, and we do have passages that severely mitigate against it. Look, you have to ask yourself the question that, okay, what you should do is read the book Biblical Separation by Ernest Pickering. That's in the theology folder. Okay, it's called Biblical Separation. And what he does is he explains in an overview of the book the nature of apostasy from Genesis to Revelation and how it relates to religious institutions, both in the Old and the New Testament.
Darth, there's a person by the name of Canadian Girl.
Yeah, let me just finish this before I have a Joe Biden moment. Okay, just hold that thought.
Sure.
So there's a reason why certain institutions ordain women. It's one thing if you have a woman teaching certain academic classes, but in certain religious institutions and denominations, do you know across the board historically the church institutions and denominations that allow for the ordination of women, they're almost always apostate. Welcome 99. What would you like to say?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out, like the whole religion thing. Like, you guys can call me lost, but I'm genuinely trying to figure my reality out, I guess.
Well, reality is that your self-consciousness and your hold on one second. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, your self-consciousness and its appropriation of the world around you, okay, are emblematic of ultimate design and intentionality by the mind and purpose of a perfect God who has revealed himself through his creation. If you do not accept that scenario,
I agree with that.
You're not going to have an identifiable and defensible model of reality by which you can explain that you are a rational being.
I agree with that. The problem I'm having right now is religion as a whole. Like,
you don't have a problem with anything because in your world, anything goes.
That's true.
You don't have an identifiable single ultimate referent, i.e. in the mind of the perfect self-revealing God, to object to anything.
Well, then I'm having trouble following Christianity as a whole.
There's no trouble accepting anything. You have no referent. Do you understand that either the mind of God is supreme, and that he is the self-revealing God, and the mind and being and character and revelation of God is the ultimate referent for everything, without which nothing could be said to be either actual or intelligible.
So should I be following the teachings of Jesus Christ or Christianity and the churches?
You should get on your knees this afternoon before your life comes to an end and turn to Jesus Christ, because the most important thing in life is to escape the damnation that you're now under. And God commands you, he doesn't just simply request, he commands you to repent for your own good, because judgment day is not a threat. It is an inevitability of a perfect God who is going to judge everybody, and all those who refuse to seek forgiveness of sin by trusting Christ as a Savior is going to be thrown into eternal separation and damnation from God. Now, if you reject that, then you are operating from a different model, but it won't be a model that's identifiable or defensible or intelligible. This is how you can know Christianity is true, because the attribute set of God, as he has revealed himself in creation through the prophets, ultimately in Jesus Christ, that his attribute set is exclusive, no other worldview can have it, and it is indispensable for the intelligibility of everything. Deny that, and you will have no frame of reference.
So I don't need to be a follower of Christianity, just a follower of Jesus Christ?
Okay, sir, you need to turn to God in repentance, recognizing your soul is damned as you breathe your air, and that you need to turn to Christ, not only to save you from the penalty of sin, but from the very detrimental influences of sin corrupting your mind right now.
So I should be turning to Jesus Christ and not Christianity in the Bible?
Did you hear me make that distinction?
I did, but I'm still confused.
No, I didn't. You're putting words in my mouth.
I asked a question. I didn't put it.
Sir, do you understand, if you do not accept the lordship of Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior, how he has revealed himself through creation and through the prophets and codified propositionally in the Bible, then anything else that comes out of your mouth will have no context. It won't mean anything in the grand scheme of things.
That's what I'm confused about. And I think you can help me elaborate on it. Is like trying to follow the words of Jesus Christ, but also following the church.
Yeah, you're just playing games with me at this point. You think I was born yesterday? How old are you?
What'd you say?
How old are you?
17.
Good. I'm 63. I'm more than 3 times your age. Do you think you're fooling me right now that you're confused? Do you know that I'm
genuinely confused.
Listen to me. Do you understand I've talked with several thousand unbelievers over the course of 14 years? Do you think you're fooling me right now?
Genuinely confused.
Do you? Okay, yeah. Bye,
I'm
Mr.
genuinely confused.
Bye. Yeah. You see, they continue to lie, thinking they're pulling the wool over my. Oh, I'm really confused. It's just an acting job, trying to pretend like they can stall, dodge, and delay. And gee, the Christian worldview really is not clear. I'm so confused. Welcome, scribes. What would you like to say?
Good evening. I hope everyone's doing well and keeping warm.
Yeah, you got to get closer to your microphone.
Sorry about that. I'm testing a new headset.
Okay.
All right. How about now? Is that better?
Yes, it is.
Very well. Just curious in regards to if you have any thoughts about how various faiths interpret the Bible. Like, for example, how perhaps Jehovah's Witnesses specifically are Christians, but they don't believe in eternal damnation, if that makes
Where
sense.
did you? Okay, must one subscribe to the doctrine of the Trinity to be a Christian?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. Well, where'd you get that from?
I'm just because it's certain.
In 2,000 years of Christian history, one of the bedrock doctrines of the Christian faith is the triune nature of God. Another bedrock doctrinal commitment of Christianity is the deity of Christ. The Jehovah's Witnesses categorically reject both of those. Do you know anything about the history of the Jehovah's Witnesses?
Not much, but that's why I wanted to come up.
Charles Taze Russell was a complete scam artist. He has a very nefarious background. Okay?
I'm listening. Yes, that's what I wanted to actually talk about, because in talking with one in the past, they told me that they reject the idea of the Trinity. So that had me questioning what's what.
So then they have a problem. They now no longer have a perfect God, because a God that is Unitarian cannot actualize love before creation. Therefore, he cannot possess love in eternity past, nor can he be a maximally personal being, because he cannot actualize the relationality aspect of being a person or a personal being.
See. Would you happen to recommend any pieces of literature or any specific type of Bible?
In regards to what?
Just in general for reading material.
You mean in terms of Christian theology?
Correct.
You might want to check out A Survey of Christian Doctrine by Charles Ryrie. That's a good short introductory book.
If you give me one moment, I'll grab a pen so I can write it down. All right, and I'm back.
Yeah, I think the title is called A Survey of Christian Doctrine by Charles Ryrie, Ryrie. If you have trouble finding the book, you can find a copy of it at archive.org.
Alrighty.
You can read it on
Ryrie, correct?
Yeah. He's a now deceased brilliant theologian who I deeply respected and agreed with most of what he wrote. If you want to read something that's a bit more in depth, he has a book that is much thicker and longer, which is more expansive, called Basic Theology. But I think for your purposes, I would start with A Survey of Christian Doctrine.
Alrighty, writing this down as we speak.
Yep.
And what was that last name?
Ryrie, Ryrie.
Perfect. Got it.
Charles Ryrie.
Got it. Well, I appreciate you taking some time to answer my questions.
Listen,
I hope you'll have a good evening.
Come anytime.
Come again?
Yeah, come anytime and ask questions.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.
I think you'll really enjoy that book.
Very well. Y'all have a good evening.
Okay. Yeah, people make a mistake about God's foreknowledge. Okay. They're making a mistake in modal logic. Okay. God knowing what we will freely choose does not cause us to make those choices. We can or could choose otherwise, but God just simply knows what we will freely choose. God knows prior what we can only know in the present. How he does that, I couldn't explain that. By the way, Precept Mars, if you see somebody show up without a avatar and they have 0 followers and following, then mute and block them instantly. What's clearly not the case, hey babe? So once again, folks, I'm having another stream on a daily basis and no intelligent opposition from the atheists on TikTok. They truly are afraid. Where are they? They're real bold when they can crush low-hanging fruit. Okay. Does the Christian God's Trinitarian nature allow them to connect persons and universals? Yeah, the God himself is the concrete according to his plan. So the triune God himself is the solution to the one and the many problem. God didn't create evil. If you're referring to Isaiah, he's talking about natural calamities, which is a temporal judgment upon fallen man as a part of his overall plan of redemption. But in the initial creation, God didn't create evil. God cannot create evil per se, but God can withhold his grace, his providential grace, where the vacuum is filled by calamities that occur. Okay. Yeah, that's just a stupid remark. If you want to come up and defend that, do so. But if you make another stupid remark, hey, babe, like that, I'm going to mute you. We welcome disagreement and opposition, but if you just make continued stupid teenage remarks, that's the way you get muted. No, if you're going to make persistent objections, you have to come up and defend it. If you don't, then you're relegated to being a drive-by troll and you'll be treated as such. I don't allow trolling on my stream. All right, so once again, we're not getting any opposition. I'm probably going to shut the stream down and take a break. Okay. No, Jesus referred to it as being intrinsically clean, but the apostles wanted the Gentiles to avoid eating animals that were, strangled, if you will, so not as to be an offense to the Jewish-minded believers. So you need to understand these things in proper context. What are the best sources? I would read Bonson's books. I would read the Objective Proof for Christianity by Bonson. You can get it at AmericanVision.org. Okay. You could read the Trilogy series by Bonson, also published by American Vision, and the titles are Against All Opposition, Pushing the Antithesis, and the third is The Impossibility of the Contrary. I don't know if I have the order of them correctly, but those are at AmericanVision.com. Just a caveat, although I strongly recommend those books, I do not agree with the prophetical and eschatological views of American Vision. They have a completely different view on prophecy than I do. But those particular books that they published, I'm highly supportive of. Okay. So the titles, again, you could read Against All Opposition. That's one of the volumes. Pushing the Antithesis. And then there is The Impossibility of the Contrary. And also, if you're only going to get one book, just get The Objective Proof for Christianity, written by Bonson and edited by Joshua Pillows. It's from AmericanVision.org. You're welcome, John. Yeah, well, Jay, send me an invite. There, Jay, I'll follow you. Oh, I already do follow you, Jay. Just send me an invite if you see me live, Jay. I'll be more than happy to help you out on other streams. I said I'll go over through it again. So the best first book you should get is called The Objective Proof for Christianity. You can get that at AmericanVision.org. When you go to that webpage, AmericanVision.org, you click on the store button. And then when that page loads, type into the search field The Objective Proof for Christianity, and will come up. You can buy either the paperback or a PDF. Okay. Mitch, if you follow me, follow me back, Mitch, and send me a DM, and I'll send you a link to the resources, okay? Yeah, send me a DM asking the link, okay, to those resources, and I'll help you out. And if for some reason, I get a ton of hate mail every day, but if for some reason, Mitch, the scientist, I don't get back to you in 24 hours, please come back to me again and remind me if I don't respond in the next 12 hours to your request, okay?
I've sent Mitch a ton of hate mail, personally.
Why?
He really got on my nerves when I was pre-supping him.
Oh, so he's just pretending he's interested?
I don't know. Maybe he's changed his mind.
Okay, yeah.
He knows philosophy. Like he knew the Barry Stroud criticism of transcendental arguments, and then I tried to correct him on that. And
yeah, well, the book, The Objective Proof for Christianity, goes into a tour de force refutation of the Stroudian objection.
Yeah, that's true. Towards the end of the book,
yeah, just a phenomenal refutation.
The end of the book goes through all the academic criticisms and some less academic criticisms of tag.
I'm just shocked at how well Joshua Pillows was able to understand and articulate the issue given his young age. Okay.
That was so good of him to put the criticisms in the book, because so often
oh my gosh, yes
I can't stand it. People like atheists, they run away from any criticisms of their positions, and so we must, as to be honest and critical thinkers, we can't just ignore criticisms. We have to deal with these things.
Exactly.
At least we be like the atheist.
Well, sometimes people are snarky and they act foolishly, but then they start to wise up, So.
That's true. Me and Mitch didn't get along initially, and since then, it's kind of mellowed out. So that's true. What are you saying? So I'm indignant sometimes because, I understand there's a lot of people that talk and they don't know what the hell they're talking about, but I try really hard not to do that. If I'm going to make claims, I'm going to want something academic to back up what I'm saying. I'm not just out here BSing people like most people do out here.
Okay, guys, I'll be streaming later since we're not getting any opposition from the unbelievers. As always, thanks for coming, Precept, and everybody for listening. Thank you for joining. But once again, we have a victorious streaming because the atheist community on TikTok is literally afraid.
Well, anyone listening, I'll probably go live in a little bit and maybe do a review of a T-Jump debate because I'm kind of interested in these. The guy's so goofy. It's I'm kind of interested to watch this.
Yeah, he's really... he's really
I kind of like watching a car accident. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know it is.
Where your heart is, there your treasure will be also. So, I mean, his word is reinforced over and over again, and I mean, I see it more in the lives of atheists than I do anyone else. They just don't realize it.
They don't understand it. Speaking of Tab's background, Tab, his video. He likes to do a video before he goes live because he heard somewhere that if you do a quick video before you go live, then more people will look at your live. And so, anyways,
I don't know.
I didn't hear him, but his video this morning. Good morning, atheists. He starts out right at the he knows they hate him, but he starts out right off the bat. Like that's his good morning right off the bat video. Good morning, atheists. Yes. And one guy put weirdo.
Weirdo.
Yeah. Somebody said Tab gets no likes on his videos, but like 75 comments.
Yeah, they call that ratioed.
He's the king.
Yeah.
Atheists hate him, man. There's Tab, there's Darth, then Tab.
Yeah. You know, different members of the same body, you know.
Yeah. I like whenever Darth's in a room and when he'll come in a room, the person that will be talking to the atheist, almost every time they're going like, oh, it's Darth.
Yeah, it's like the principal walking into the classroom.
Oh, it's Darth. Oh, man, I love it so much. It's so fun to me to watch people's reactions and stuff. I just let them talk, and they get themselves in a
they do drop
in a predicament, you know.
Oh yeah, because I mean he died. You know, I almost wish he would. If he was here with those other guys talking about like evolution and stuff, it would not have gone on as long as it did.
No, it would have been goodbye.
Yeah. I mean, and he knows more about that. So, you know, he knows the lingo. He's, you know, I don't know. I know a little bit because, you know, it helps to kind of know thy enemy, and I want to have conversations and just, you know, again, I mean, I just want to know things. I want to have knowledge, but it's not to discredit.
We all came from monkeys. We are 98.98999% matched up with chimps.
Yeah.
I just watched a new one on ancestral DNA. It's freaking awesome. They verified that your ancestral DNA does not match up with your ancestors at 400 years back.
Wow.
Period. So you have zero DNA match with an ancestor that's 400 years earlier than you.
Wow.
So all this, we're ancestors of apes.
Yeah, not so much.
Yeah, already been disproven. I did a whole live on it. Man, people went crazy.
Oh, I bet you.
I mean, they were hounding my comments like crazy, going totally nuts about it.
That's awesome. Now you know what to get people, the trolls on board.
Oh yeah, you want some trolls? That's what you do. All right, I'm gonna go eat some lunch. Hey, love you guys, man. I haven't talked to you in a while. Coffee. Hollowed, I haven't followed you. If I haven't followed you, I'm following you now. God bless y'all. I'll catch y'all in a little bit.
Hey, Dad, I'm gonna go get the.
God bless.
Yeah, he's a good, cool guy, man. He's a Christian. He's a Really smart, knowledgeable. He's from Texas also.
Yeah, I want to. If there's one state, it was between Florida and Texas, and I think my heart would be in Texas because I have to get. I'm in Michigan. I got to get out of this weather.
Oh yeah, cold weather. We don't get along.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm always cold no matter what. I mean, I don't weigh that much. You probably saw it in my arm.
Yeah.
When I should. I've always been. I mean, I'm 5'6", 100. I mean, the most I've weighed in my life is 140 pounds.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and that's big for me. I was like around, like in high school I was like at 112, I think, and yeah. So I mean, I'm not big by any stretch, but yeah, this cold with my arthritis, my knees, yeah, it's just terrible. And I mean, Texas was just, I don't know. I mean, there's just something about Texas, you know.
Yeah.
We're
just proud people, I guess. You know, we love and Texas, you can go from mountains to flat to the beach, you know what I mean, in one state.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are like your own country. You guys were independent at one time, and you guys, you know.
Yeah. I feel sorry for people. I feel sorry for another country trying to invade the United States and first come to Texas. There's a video of a Ukrainian soldier asking for Texans to come and help them in the war.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you guys are known for that, you know, not messing around.
That's why, man, we love for some reason, I don't know why, but we love our guns.
Yeah, your gun, yeah. I mean, Michigan's kind of I think if anything I think Michigan is another state that's kind of known for their guns, if anything. I mean, if they're known for anything, I guess. Maybe it's just Detroit. You know, we're just known for Detroit, which is a different kind
of... no.
Yeah. Which is guns, but in a bad way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. That's why we want our guns for the people who have guns in a bad way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my uncle would always say an armed society is a polite society.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because when they outlaw guns, the only people who are getting shot are the ones that follow the law.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, man. That's why we got to keep everything equal.
Yeah, and keep our Constitution intact.
You know, some politicians don't want guns, but yet they want us to still have nuclear power. That's the same thing, just in a bigger
boom.
Yeah, that's what nuclear weapons are. Guns. You know, when you compare them to the guns and the guns. That's why everybody wants a nuclear weapon so they can be respected.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's just an evolution of the gun, our missiles and nuclear missiles, and just a bigger bang to get more attention and cause more fear and chaos.
Yeah.
But yeah, the spirit is still the same.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, the conversations today with some atheists.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, it's kind of wearing on me, to be honest.
It does wear on you. But when you hear the same things over and over, it's more practice for us to be able to combat that.
Yeah.
And it's not really for the person you're talking to. It's for the people who are listening, you know?
Yep. And that's, I said that to a Muslim the other day because we're getting into the whole Trinity debate. And I was like, you might not be listening to me, but I have an audience here so keep asking your questions and it's just only going to clarify for me, you know?
Yeah. And somebody might be